Do you remember Schedule F? That first came up, I guess, about 6 years ago now under the first Trump administration. Well, as you probably know, it's back, and it's back in force under the second Trump administration. And it's taken another significant step forward this week when President Trump issued a new executive order. I'm going to go over the highlights of that with you right now because it has the potential to impact or to have a significant impact on the federal employees whose jobs it will apply to. Here are the details. On June 3rd, that was, let's see, Wednesday of this week. I'm recording this on Thursday, June 4th. President Trump signed an executive order, and it will affect about 8,000 senior federal employees. That's a count according to Reuters. And there are two big things it does. It will make these federal employees easier to fire. However, it will also set up a bonus pool to reward top performing federal employees who are impacted by this. So what's changing under this order? It's moving a group of named positions into schedule policy slash career. That's what was formerly known as Schedule F. In the second Trump administration, it's called Schedule Policy Career. So pretty much the same thing, just a different name. And traditional civil service removal protections will no longer apply to these 8,000 or so employees. An agency only needs to provide written notice to fire someone. So in essence, it just makes it easier to fire employees for poor performance. And so there won't be any more lengthy performance improvement plans, appeal rights to the MSPB, that sort of thing. But there are four grounds for removal: poor performance, misconduct, corruption, or subversion of presidential directives. And as justification for this, the White House issued a fact sheet about the executive order. And one of the things in this fact sheet is it cited a poll as a basis for why the Trump administration is doing this and why they feel it's necessary. There was a poll that indicated a significant number of senior federal employees in the Washington, D.C. area said they would ignore a lawful order from President Trump that they considered to be bad policy. The fact sheet on the executive order states, quote, "Federal employee removal procedures are lengthy and burdensome. Removals and subsequent appeals often take a year or more to process. As a result, agencies seldom remove career employees, even at senior levels, including for egregious conduct or subversion of presidential priorities." The fact sheet then goes on to add, quote, "Elected officials must be able to hold policy-making career employees accountable for their performance and conduct in order to operationalize the policies that voters elected them to pursue." So that, in essence, is the reasoning behind this executive order. The bonus pool, I wanted to talk about that a little bit too. In addition to making it easier to fire these 8,000 or so employees, it's also bringing in a pay for performance system, essentially, because the same order requires agencies to set up a dedicated bonus pool for those employees. It will be separate from the regular agency award budget, and it directs OPM to create a new presidential award program exclusively for this group. The Trump administration is framing it as a true merit system with real consequences for poor performance and real rewards for outstanding work. So for these employees, it's instead of the old civil service protections, again, it will be easier to fire them for performance reasons. But if they work hard, do an excellent job, they're also likely to make more money. Kind of the same principle in the private sector. You work hard in your job and you do an outstanding job and you'll get more money. If you don't, you may lose your job. That's the philosophy the administration is applying here. So who is actually affected by this? Well, according to the White House fact sheet, it'll be about 97% of the reclassified positions are GS-15 or senior level. The roles include positions like directors, deputy directors, senior policy advisors, chiefs of staff, budget officials, legislative affairs, and communications leaders. So it's higher level positions primarily. And it covers around 248 organizational units across virtually every federal agency. Also, the affected employees to whom this applies must be notified within 7 days, according to the details of the executive order. It's about 8,000 employees now. However, the White House says it could eventually be up to 50,000 positions that are reclassified. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, this concept of Schedule F first came up at the end of the first Trump administration. In October of 2020, at the end of Trump's first term, it was it was called Schedule F then. And after President Biden took over, he revoked the executive order that President Trump had issued right before the election that year. So it never came to pass, in other words. But President Trump reinstated it on his very first day back in office in his second term. And the executive order that was issued this week is just another step in the process. It's further formalizing it by naming some of the specific positions to which it will apply. Federal employee unions have been vehemently opposed to this. They've been fighting the Trump administration on this and pretty much everything the administration's doing at every step along the way. So I suspect further legal action on this matter is likely. I've written an article on fedsmith.com that goes into a lot more details on this. I'll leave a link to that in the description. And it's got a link to the executive order itself, more details about it. And there's also a link in the article to an appendix that was included with the executive order that lists, it's quite lengthy, 229 pages or thereabouts, but it's a listing of the affected positions to which this order will apply. So please check all of that out. Again, much more detail if you want to look at it. Thank you for watching and listening today. I hope you found this video helpful, and we will continue to give you more updates on this and other important news items that impact you and your federal career. Have a good day.